Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight as always. And wow, there's some things happening on the fishing scene. Monster bluefin barrels at Portland, Kingfish in the Docklands area, a whiting season that looks like being the best in decades. It's unbelievable. Also tonight, we have a special guest in the studio. I'll introduce him very soon. All that and plenty more. So let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. Now, I think it was only a week ago we were talking about how we were going to skip spring straight into summer.
Yep.
Can I take it back?
Oh. Have you seen the weather for next, like Melbourne Cup weekend? I think the warmest day is 20 degrees.
Yeah, we'll just backtrack to winter.
Just ridiculous. But anyway,
Melbourne.
It's always a big welcome to the man, all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelford. Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Dave. And yes, a brisky 5 degrees the other morning in Shepparton. So
Yeah, it's no good this time of year. That's no good.
Yeah,
We had a little taste of warmth and then it's just gone
It's a
again.
Melbourne
Just
teaser.
just need the temperature in the water up.
There you go. And our special guest tonight, he's no stranger to talking fishing from Maritime Safety Victoria, Marty O'Connell. Welcome, Marty.
G'day, David. Thanks for having us back again.
Now, I reckon it was this time last year we had you on.
I think it was
this time. The boating season's about to head into top gear.
Sure
you've got
is.
A million people launching at places like Altona and Carrum and lots of trouble out there on the water. You know, it's funny, isn't it? Snapper fishermen, they're almost angry people, I reckon. I'm not saying this about your
Well,
job.
if they're not catching fish, they could be.
They could be, but you're not allowed to anchor next to anyone. You've got to be 300 metres away, or you're taking their spot, all that sort of stuff.
You
And
got
yet,
jet skis zipping around.
jet skis zipping around, all that sort of stuff. And yet you get into kingy season, everyone's right next to each other, hooking up to kings in the rip and not letting the ships through, Marty.
Yeah, well, we don't want that.
We might touch on that. Yeah. Just quickly, remind people, because you were on a year ago, but that was your first appearance on our show. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in the job?
So coming up to 6 years in December.
Yeah,
6 years in this position, obviously.
Yep.
Well, 6 years in this position, and then in Adelaide, we talked about that last year. But doing the same role in Adelaide last year. So it's
now,
great.
Are you doing a slightly different role this year to last year? Or are you doing the same thing?
It's a little bit different. It's more of a compliance and investigations role. So a bit of a change.
What's the best bit about your job?
It's
just put you on the spot.
Absolutely, this. It's talking to people and knowing that you're contributing to to people being safe out there and providing them with some really good safety messages and I think it's great too.
There's been some I guess tragic accidents and things like that in recent times, hasn't there? And you just I'd say boats are getting safer. You would hope that they're getting safer.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's more boats on the water. I haven't seen those sort of stats, but it only takes a very small thing to create a boating accident, and you can't just step out and walk away, can you?
You can't. I mean, it's a nasty environment, and you've just got to make sure that you respect that environment. It's critical that you respect the environment because, as you said, you can't get out and walk. You've got to rely on yourself. You've got to get yourself back. So we really the message that we want is boat safe, come home safe. Come home to your family. So it's really important.
We're going to talk a lot about maritime safety tonight. Plenty of things to talk about, but let's kick it off first. Let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
And let's kick it off with what is going on down in Portland. It is amazing what is going on down in Portland. Red hot fishing charter. Simon Ronaldo. Simon is the barrel king, isn't he?
You can smell them.
It's unbelievable. I think today's Tuesday, the first Tuesday in several Tuesdays that he hasn't caught a barrel today. So I think he's come back for the snapper season. But that is a cracker of a fish in anyone's language. And if we have a look at the next one, I'll tell you what, if this tuna went to school with you, Trelly. Even you would nickname him Barrel. Have a look at this one. George Hemmings
Look at that.
got a lovely 152 kilo tuna off Portland, I think last Wednesday that was.
That's
big.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That's a barrel.
Is that one of the biggest ones we've had on the show? Is it?
152's up there.
It had to be
Yeah,
close.
I was
Up
gonna
there.
say.
Yeah,
That's a ripper.
I'm not sure if we've had 160s and 170s, but that is
It was
certainly...
sort of going to happen with the weather, wasn't it? It was like, even,
Yeah.
our shop's getting reports, even from Shepparton, guys going down, and it's
Yeah.
like, once the weather breaks, we're out there, fellas.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the only thing holding it back at the moment is the weather. You know, if we had a string of good days, we saw probably 2 or 3 weeks in a row where Simon was catching big fish, and it seemed to always
Yeah.
be on a Tuesday. But
And the thing is, these fish are in close too. People aren't having to travel out too far for...
yeah, well, I
for
think
these
one of them, he was...
14 metres
Yeah, he
off
ended
the
up in
rocks.
14 metres. That's right.
Crazy, isn't it, for a fish that
Unbelievable.
size? Let's keep moving along and let's... look at this one. This is a cracker. Alf. Now,
Alfie?
Alf come past the shop that day.
He did too.
It was his 40th birthday. He took the family down, I think, last Sunday
that's
night.
right.
No, last Monday night.
Something, yeah.
Whenever it was his 40th birthday.
Yep.
He got out of bed at 5:30 in the morning out of his hotel room at Phillip Island, walked down to the Cows jetty and got that
caught a
62 centimetre snapper off the Cows pier for his birthday.
How good's that?
Lovely,
He
yeah.
was
Great effort,
wrapped.
yeah, great
So well done, Alf.
Yep.
Happy 40th birthday and well done. Took the family down, just enjoyed a lovely time down there for his
Snapper for
birthday. Now,
breakfast.
talking about birthdays, pretty sure it's this bloke's birthday today. Mark Leopold, he got a lovely snapper off Lysart's, Marty. You know this bloke.
I do, yeah.
He's, well, you pinged him once or twice, or
It's a beautiful looking fish, though, isn't
it
it?
is a good looking
Yeah,
fish, and
lots
well
of
done
spots
to
and
Mark.
beautiful. Yeah, well done.
And happy birthday to Mark. It's not only about the snapper, because there are some other beautiful species in Westerport, none other than the lovely King George whiting and Cozzy and Huff. Huff, obviously, on the
camera duties that day.
But Cozzy got some lovely King George whiting. I tell you what, that's only a taste of things to come, boys, because they're everywhere in Westerport. They're everywhere in
I was
Port
going to say, off
Phillip.
Lysarts, we don't typically
know.
get a lot of whiting reports from there. It's known
deep
as a
water.
snapper and a gummy mark, but isn't that the way things are going with the whiting? They're ending up in deeper water, and
Yeah.
we're starting to cotton onto it.
Yeah.
Or guys just fishing for them.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they've always
that's
been
a
in the
big
deep,
part
but
of it.
people
point.
have traditionally only
Good point.
fished shallow for
Yeah,
them.
that's a big part of
that's
it.
right.
Now they're going, well, let's fish deep, and they're finding the bigger ones.
Yeah, good work.
Different species all around, as we said, and off Queenscliff. In fact, I've got a little email here. This was from Melissa, and Melissa said, we took our 5-year-old daughter on her first fishing trip last week. We went off Queenscliff. Evelina, I think that's how you say it, Evelina has been waiting all week to go, asking every day if we could just go tonight, and telling all her school friends she was going fishing on her dad's boat. Evelina caught her first squid of the day, all on her own, except casting the rod. It's not a horse, but it's a good size for her
It's not
first
bad.
catch. I'll tell you
good.
what.
That's a ripper.
Trelly would be happy with that. Trelly would be really happy with that one. In fact, Evelina's outfished you, Trelly, in the calamari this year.
She has, actually. If I get one, even if it's small, then I'm going to put it on the TV. Right?
There you go. There you go. And have a look at this just to wind up catch of the week. This is a stonker.
This is unreal.
This is a true stonker. This is a redfin from Tolondo. Thomas Gunther,
It looks wrong.
49.5 centimetre redfin. Is
beauty.
Tolondo
I
going
would
off or
love
what?
to catch a reddy that big.
Oh,
I would
now,
love to catch a reddy that big.
that's on board with Trevor Holmes from Victorian Inland Fishing Charters, and Trev's, I reckon, equally now catching redfin on his charters as trout, because the reddies are so good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Why not?
You'd
They
pay
just-
to go and catch a fish like that.
Absolutely.
Well, there must be plenty of food out there. I mean,
It's
that's
just one of those
that's a
systems where
beauty.
the fish just grow quickly. Yeah, and obviously there's a good food source in there, but the quality of the fish, and not only that, I mean the browns, the rainbows that come out of there, but to see redfin coming
Massive trophy
out of a
reddies.
place like
Great
that,
eaters too.
it's
Fantastic eating fish. Yeah,
amazing, isn't it? If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
And next on Talking Fishing, fisheries news, including all the info on a big snapper talk night tomorrow night, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day. Stop wishing. Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away. Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down at Tackle World today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
And plenty of news this week. I'm going to run through it pretty quick because we are joined in the studio by Marty O'Connell from Maritime Safety Victoria. Got plenty to talk about in water safety. Let's get on with it. The headline here, summer is on its way, get your free rock lobster tags. Coastal waters are warming up ahead of the recreational rock lobster season, which reopens on the 16th of November, so only a couple of weeks away, boys. Nice. Victorian Fisheries Authority CEO Travis Dowling said thousands of keen divers would be checking wetsuits, fins, masks and equipment in the countdown to opening so that they would be ready to hit the water and make the most of Victoria's wonderful rock lobster resource. It is that time of year when people are thinking about all that sort of stuff. Amongst preparations, we are encouraging divers and fishers to familiarise themselves with new rock lobster fishing rules introduced in July. The major change is a requirement to tag all recreationally caught rock lobsters with free tags that are available from the Victorian Fisheries Authority. The tagging program commenced on 1st of July and it's off to a great start with over 1,600 fishers registered and 26,000 tags have been sent out.
Nice.
So there you go.
Yeah.
It's just a trial,
Yep.
I think, and it just needs to be...
Limit on the tags? Oh, put in for 60.
yeah, I'm getting to that. Look, the next slide says...
Okay.
Charlie, recreational fishers and divers can order up to 20 tags at a time.
At a time.
Yep, which must be attached to each and every rock lobster they keep. There is no limit to the number of tags people can order in a year, although fishers must report the use of tags via the Vic RL Tag smartphone app or the website, which is vic.gov.au/lobster tag, it says there, before a second order can be fulfilled in 5 to 7 business days by mail. For convenience, tags are also available over the counter at departmental offices in Warrnambool, Queenscliff, Geelong, Traralgon and Lakes Entrance. There you go. Make sure you tag your lobsters. The next one's about snapper. Snapper fishing in Port Phillip Bay is sensational this time of year. This is from Victorian Fisheries Authority. A recent study by fisheries scientists has revealed that the peak annual spawning migration of snapper into the bay occurs when the water temperature reaches 15 degrees Celsius, which tends to happen in October, as it did last week. So we crossed the magical 15-degree mark.
Last week.
Anglers targeting snapper can expect an improvement in fishing this year as several new groups of fish enter the adult and pinky fisheries. Annual surveys by VFA scientists indicate that spawning success was reasonably good in the late 2000s. Fish originating from those spawning seasons will be prevalent in the smaller size range of the adult fishery this season, around the 2 to 3 kilo. We haven't seen many of those 2 to 3 kilo fish.
Not yet.
Well, bigger, aren't they?
They're all good fish.
Maybe they're on their way.
Yep.
Yeah. Another year class. Furthermore, very good spawning years in 2013 and 14 should see a major boost in the catch rate of smaller pinky snapper, up to 35 centimetres in Port Phillip Bay and Westmoor. Great.
Nice.
When you're on the whiting and you get hounded by pinkies, nothing worse. But anyway, it'll be good in years to come. Based on the last decade of survey data, scientists expect catch rates to drop during the last few years compared to the peak experienced about 6 to 7 years ago. Their surveys of anglers at boat ramps confirm this, with a decrease in catch rates of large snapper reported from 2014, although it does look like there's plenty, but we get all the good photos.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
However, the future trend for the snapper fishery expected to be a moderate increase before stabilising in the early 2020s. Good information. Mr. Dowling said it was important that all anglers abided by snapper bag and size limits to ensure a high quality fishery that is best able to accommodate the natural fluctuations in spawning success. Stick to your bags and sizes. Alrighty, let's keep moving. The Murray Codference, Trelly,
Coming up.
is coming up. Recreational anglers can learn all about Victoria's Murray cod at the conference in Shepparton on Sunday, December the 10th. Fishing guru and TV personality Steve Starling will present the keynote address on the native fish revolution and reflect on his personal journey with our most iconic native fish, the Murray cod. Then there's Robbie Alexander. He's going to be talking about the Ovens River. John Cahill will talk about cod culture. And Mark Ainsworth, so they reckon, is going to give away secrets to improve catch rates in rivers and lakes. That'll cagiest fisherman I know. As if he's going to give away anything about Murray cod.
Is there any other type?
He said he wouldn't eat the buns with the seeds on top. He was that tight to give away information.
He was. Yeah. He wouldn't give away a secret. In 2017, the conference will cover a whole lot of things. You can see them listed on I'm just going to fly through this, listed on your screen there. If you want to get along, it's at the East Bank Conference Centre in Shepparton, 9 till 4. We're going to put all this on our social media tomorrow. Log on to vfa.vic.gov.au/conference 2017. to reserve your seat.
Yep.
There's that one.
Party at Trellies after that.
Party at Trellies?
Party at Trellies.
The shop or the house?
The shop after that.
Mary, I thought Mary said, yeah, home. No, let's keep going. There is a very big snapper fishing comp on this weekend, and you can still enter at peninsulasnapperchallenge.com. There's all the info up on the screen. You can win a $2,500 Tackle World shopping spree. 1 in 10 entrants get a lucky draw prize. You can win a trip with Dermot Brereton, all sorts there. peninsulasnapperchallenge.com.
Getting quick, spot's nearly gone.
Yep.
I'll jump in there too, Dave.
You can.
Great opportunity to say, get your boat prepped and ready to go. Yeah, it's a good time of the year to
Well, there'll be a lot of people out in the water this weekend.
Yep.
So a lot of people.
Check your bungs.
And your buns.
First thing.
Yep.
Buns.
Another couple of events. Booger Farah Snapper Comp is on in November at Port Welshpool. There's all the details up there. Again, we're going to fly through this. The largest snapper gets $500. Fishing times on Saturday and Sunday. $20 per person registration. Again, we'll put all these details up on our social media tomorrow. Flying through this, the Talk Wild Trout Conference is on not this Saturday but next, boys.
Yep.
If you want to know anything about trout and particularly those northeastern streams, get along to it. You can register vfa.vic.gov.au Talk Trout. There's all the info on that. Again, be on our social media tomorrow. And lucky last, before we talk to Marty, because we've got a bit to cover, Australia's biggest snapper talk night is on tomorrow night. There's still a few seats left if you want to call those numbers on your screen down the bottom there tomorrow. From 9 a.m, you can book yourself a seat for the Snapper Talk. I'll be there. Adam will be there. Paul Hamer, the scientist, will be there talking about all the things we just talked about in Snapper.
Yep.
So, where they're spawning, he's tracking them acoustically, all that sort of stuff.
Great
We'll be on there. There you go.
Good
All right,
stuff.
Marty, let's get into some stuff, some marine safety stuff.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things, and I talked about earlier on, fatalities. It's one of those things that if a very unexpected accident, and that's why they call them accident, occurs, people are dying. And, some of the things that contribute to that, it's not good. You get over and what do? You enter the water, what do you do?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the numbers. So last year we had 6 fatalities, which is 6 too many, of course, because associated with that is the families.
Yeah.
So, these people have entered the water unexpectedly. They've fallen in, not ready for it, and not wearing a life jacket, can't get back into the boat, which is a critical thing, so that can't help themselves, and raising the alarm is another big one. They no ability to raise the alarm, so no one knows, and particularly if they're operating solo, and that's the stats are showing.
Out of those 6. Were they all operating solo, or some, or do you have those numbers?
Yeah,
Just
not
to put you on the
100%
spot.
sure. I'm not sure, but most were operating solo.
Yeah, and just
some
so
kayakers.
people can picture it, have a look at. We've got a couple of photos here. I mean, there's 3 guys. Now, luckily, it looks like they've got their gear, and but you'd still be in strife.
Well, you mentioned before too, Dave, in relation to the snapper spawning when it hits a certain temperature, 15 degrees. Now, we run at 37.5 or whatever it is, our bodies, and you enter that water and you're in there for a couple of hours, you start losing that body, that temperature.
And you look at the slide we've got up on the screen now. I mean, there's a guy operating singly or solo, and that boat goes over and you're not wearing your safety gear. your mobile phone's not going to work because it's in your pocket. You're really relying on luck, aren't you, in that circumstance that someone will see you and come and rescue you. Otherwise, you're pretty much knackered.
Yeah, and luck's not going to cop it. You know,
No.
that's not going to help anyone, and particularly the person that's entered the water. So preparing yourself is key. It's absolutely key.
Yeah.
And when I say preparing yourself, you know, people don't expect to enter the water. And that example that we just put up on the screen, Dave, is a small tinny, and that represents the fatalities. They're all small boats, so they're very unstable. You move about, and
flip over,
and you flip over, and you enter the water unexpectedly. So, being prepared. Even if you don't need an EPIRB in Port Phillip Bay, why not carry a PLB on yourself?
Yeah.
Because raising the alarm is a big thing.
Yeah.
You might have your life jacket on, but if you haven't risen the alarm, no one knows that's
you're going to get damn cold.
Yeah.
Even if you have got a life jacket on, you're going to get damn cold, and no way of notifying anyone. Now, a PLB, that's a personal EPIRB?
A personal locator beacon, it doesn't...
So one of those would be, what, $400 or something?
Oh, I think they're less now. They're quite affordable.
So if you're going to operate on your own, why wouldn't you wear one?
Yeah, well, operating alone, as we know, you need to wear your life jacket anyway.
Yeah.
So,
but why wouldn't you wear a personal locator beacon?
I'm surprised it's almost not a legality, to be honest.
No, yeah.
I know it's not. You don't have to have one, but I'm surprised it's not.
But it'd help.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
The thing is with those things, I mean, if you do any other sport, like I know the guys that ride motorbikes around the hills. If you're off in the scrub hunting or something, you've got that. There's a multi-choice. It's not just a boating.
They're not just a marine thing, are they?
Yeah.
No,
it's a great example, Charlie. And many uses. Well, there's two uses right there. So why not if you do a bit of both? And generally, fishermen do like to play inland and out in the boat. So why not carry a PLB?
Luck's not a strategy, is it?
No, well,
you don't plan to be lucky, do you?
No, that's right.
There are other things that you can do to prepare yourself.
Absolutely.
When you do enter the water, is it, I mean, imagine if you haven't got your life jacket on, you've got heavy clothes. Some people might be wearing gum boots, or something like that. They've been fishing. I mean, all that stuff is stuff that can kill you.
And like I said before, they're not prepared to go into the water because they think that it's not going to happen to them. Now, let me tell you, it does happen to people, and they don't come home. So be prepared. And you mentioned that before. There may be a situation where no one can get to you straight away, so you might have to get yourself back on board that boat. So affix a ladder. A ladder's it's a great, because you've got to get out of that environment back into the boat. And I mentioned before that elderly people represent a large number of the fatalities, and we all getting old. Well, we are, but, young Adam here, but
Dave especially.
I'm getting old. You're getting old, Charlie.
I got better life insurance than these guys. I reckon that's all right.
Check your bungs. But so maybe practice in a controlled environment, trying to get back into your boat because.
If you've ever had a little 12-foot tinny, and you're out of the boat, and you've got to try and climb in,
it's not easy.
I tell you what, I don't think at my age I could do it. When I was younger, I could, but I don't reckon these days I could get back into a tinny.
And thanks for mentioning that, because older people, they tend to think that they can still swim that kilometre back to shore, but in reality, we know that that's not the case. So
Alrighty, not pleasant discussions, but reality it is. Up next, product of the week, and we keep chatting to Marty on water safety right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Hi, David Kramer here. If you love talking fishing, why not get your company involved? Just go to talkingfishing.com.au and click the link to help support the show. Get on board today.
Talking Fishing.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now, we had to, of course, project of the week, we need to take advantage of Marty being here, so we will talk about safety gear, which I know we've been through numerous times over the last few years, but we want to change it up a little bit, and rather than explain to you what these things are, I want to focus on why we have them and why they're so important, because some of them we tend to forget about, and some of them aren't actually legal. You don't need them legally, I should say, depending on what waters you're fishing. So I'm going to open up with the EPIRB. Over the last few years, these have been quite a strong talking point throughout the fishing industry, in particularly the recreational fishing industry, because there's been a change. We've gone from analog to digital. Now you can also buy them with GPS. And Marty, I want to take advantage of having you here to ask a very simple question that can turn quite complex. Why would you buy this standard GPS, which is still readily available, so standard EPIRB with no GPS functionality, compared to this one, which plots you to the necessary authorities to practically where you are? Very quickly, just run us through the difference and why is that one still on the market, because I can't work it out.
Well, you guys know me and I love to talk common sense, and that's how I approach any conversation I have out there in the field talking to boaters. Common sense says that you have a GPS-enabled EPIRB every day of the week.
So the difference between those two is one just locates you a lot closer to where you are. Is that am I right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to, we want people to have these, either one, absolutely. But we want the GPS-enabled EPIRB.
Well, you speak common sense. To give you an idea, and now don't quote me on the stats, but I think a standard EPIRB like this one can put you can put the authorities within a 5 kilometre radius of where you are.
Oh, that's about right, yeah.
Now that's a long way.
Yeah.
That's a long way. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack depending on conditions.
Yep.
Whereas the GPS version can put you within a couple of 100 metres.
Absolutely, and that just makes sense.
So it's a bit of a no-brainer for
Price
me.
difference, that's?
It's not a lot these days. It's not a lot.
Would it be $100?
It used to be quite significant, but it has evened itself out a little bit, and I'm sure that's due to reflection of sales figures.
Yeah.
But we talk about price. What's the price?
What's the price of your life?
That's
Of your life.
Well,
and, how long do you want to be sitting in the water?
Yeah.
Particularly if you're wide off Warrnambool or anywhere there's, sharks swimming around.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, one of the things I guess, reality is, and touch wood, there hasn't been too many problems, but, we're seeing a growing sword fishery off Lakes Entrance.
Yep.
And people are travelling 100 kilometres offshore to go for swordfish, So you run into fuel problems. If the wind blows up, you're using a lot more fuel than you may have anticipated. You might know the capability of your boat travelling that far out. You might have taken spare fuel out in containers, and just the danger of refuelling out at sea. There's all these things that will come with that, and it's not going to go away. I mean, the local council's just built a new weigh gantry, just about commissioned, I think, for swordfish at the Lakes Entrance boat ramp. We will see a lot of boats go to Lakes Entrance now, probably of the similar number of what was travelling to Portland when Portland first fired for southern bluefin tuna. So, and I know legally you've got to have one of those. You just hope people don't have to start using them in the near future.
Yeah.
Great Christmas present, leading up to Christmas.
Really. The other thing is, Marty, when it went to digital, so correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's getting to a time where some of the battery lives are expiring, because these things do have a battery life as well.
Yeah, they do, and we want people to buy them, but they also have to be registered by law.
Yeah.
All right, so and that who it's registered to, secondary contact, third contact, and then they'll go through the first contact and no answer, then they go back through, he's gone fishing.
So you've got to make sure all that information is kept up to date as well.
And
that's easy online. I think it's on AMSA's
website.
It's very easy to update all that information.
It is very easy.
But people do need to check the battery life, because they do have an expiry. So Ads, you've got a few more things.
Yeah, we need to fly through these. I'm going to maybe forget the last one. We had an air horn on there, but it's neither here nor there, because this stuff is important.
Yep.
When it comes to life jackets, I'm not going to bang on about the servicing thing. We've done that to death. We all know the law by now. What I wanted to talk to you specifically about this life jacket, Marty, is this is an automatic inflate life jacket.
Yep.
Now that means sitting just under the canister, there is a tiny little mechanism which, as soon as that takes on water, it automatically inflates the life jacket.
Yep.
I'd love your opinion on whether it's A, necessary, and B, safe, because we get loaded with questions daily at the shops on the automatic inflate thing. They're worried about spray getting on them and inflating the life jacket. What's your opinion as far as experience goes when you see people with automatic life jackets on their boats?
Oh, we'd rather have automatic life jackets, and it depends on what sort of boating you're going to be doing. You know, if you're going to be operating, you know, out wide in rougher seas, you know, it's a potential that you could knock your head, go over the side. Now, it's no use to you if you're knocked out and you're face down and you can't set it off. It is use to you if it is an automatic life jacket. It then goes off and you're righted, and then your mates can come back and get you in the boat. So and if you're disorientated or whatever, it's pretty much going to make sure your head's up and you're looking all right. That's the whole idea of the PFD Type 1, and that's to right your head so it's above water.
Because just to dispel a couple of myths, people think as soon as they cop a little bit of spray over the side, this thing's going to go off. No. That's got to get through a water-resistant outer, plus it is actually also covered by the bladder inside. So that it's going to take not heaps of time, because obviously it needs to happen fairly quickly if you go over.
It's going to take water.
But spray's not going to matter.
No,
it's got to get on there. So that's the Auto Inflate PFD. They're easily available and they're not super expensive these days. And I just want to quickly touch on replacement canisters, because you can service your life jacket yourself depending on the brand. Jump onto the brand or model's website, get the bits and pieces. You'll have to fill out paperwork to acknowledge that you understand what it takes to service the life jacket. But one thing that's worth checking every single time is the little green clip. We get carried away with the canister, the condition of that, the inflation mechanism, we can sort that out. But those little green clips, we've heard already so far people getting pulled up because everything in their life jacket is 100% right, except for that little green clip. Every time your life jacket goes off, that little green clip goes missing. All it does, it's a fail-safe to keep the actual lever coming down, which pushes the pin through to pierce the actual canister. Double check that green clip, because if that is not in there, it doesn't matter how well your life jacket is serviced and how good a condition that canister is in. Without that green clip, the life jacket is illegal. So please double check that while you're servicing your jacket, because it's massively important.
Yeah, can I also say, go back to the servicing too, Adam, and the water police down there at Gippsland come across, so they sent us a photo of a jacket that they come across. It looked like this. It was really good condition, but the manual inflation had actually torn away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you really got to, you've got to play with this stuff and make sure that's in good nick.
That's what's important.
Like trying to blow up a balloon with a hole in it.
Correct.
Yeah, basically.
And your manual inflation is always on your left side. The CO2 bottle's in your right. It's not a life jacket unless it works. So, look after it.
So I know we're a little bit over, but that's product of the week. We could talk about this forever because it's massively important. But please double check your life jackets. EPIRBs, if you haven't got one, just to clarify the legality, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you only need one legally if you're going more than 2 nautical miles offshore.
Yeah.
But it is very, very much well worth having one in the bays. So check them out, because it may potentially save your life.
Absolutely.
There you go. Got to keep moving on. Up next, Kramer's Mailbag. We continue our chat on water safety with Marty O'Connell right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat it for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Alrighty, let's get straight into the mailbag. You're going to love this one, Trelly. I tell you what.
Good,
you are looking safe, Trelly, too, by the way. Can we just pan over to Trelly for a second?
Beacon.
It says,
You are.
Good work, Trelly.
wear a rubber. No, wear a life jacket. We're safe.
You are looking safe. All right. Hi, my name is Jenny Chevalier, it says.
Hi, Jen.
I just thought I'd send you in a picture of my late father, Ron, and my grandfather, Albert. This is one of the smaller Murray cods they caught that day in the Goulburn River in Seymour in 1957.
How good's that?
On a nightline they
How
put
good's
across the river
Yep.
with chook heads.
Yeah.
Hashtag
beauty-
Springers.
This beauty was 84 pounds. It was passed around the family and still fondly remembered all these years later.
What a
good's
Those
that?
were the days.
More
Those
of
were
those
the
photos, I reckon.
That's awesome.
They
More
bring
of
them back.
Geez, yeah, it's like reminds me of last week. My dad in his day.
Fishing with satellite.
What a cracker. Now, you may recall last week we talked about Bem River and the boat ramp.
We
and
did.
A few little mistakes in the design and
Pretty
construction. We've had, I think it's David.
Well, it's all sweet now.
The parallel boat ramp.
It's all sweet now because the entrance is closed and the water's high.
Well, no, it is all street. David, he's the president of Bem River Progress and Improvement Association Incorporated. It's pretty, I think, the most longest named business in Bem River.
Why not
He
super?
wrote back to us and he said, and I won't go through the whole thing, but basically the contractors have turned up in the Shire last Thursday and they put another section of boat ramp in.
500 yards, yeah.
I've got pages from
So
here.
we're good to go now?
I think we're good to go.
You can't drive to
there
the
you go. They turned up last
Department of
Thursday
Betterment.
with an additional 4 metres of concrete ramp, which they've installed with a minimum of disruption. There are still a few rocks, which the East Gippsland Shire have acknowledged that need removing and will action this week. Hopefully they do, because rocks and props aren't real good if you're trying to
No.
put your... And there's a photo that David sent in
looks
of
a
the
little bit
boat.
better.
Looks as if the trailer's backed in a little bit deeper there.
So
and
you can't reverse all the way to the river mouth anymore.
No. And look, we didn't mean to say anything bad against Bem River. I think a few people in Bem River were a bit sensitive to what we said.
That's not the
No,
intention.
it was just about these
never.
authorities that keep cocking up
Yeah,
boat
that's right.
ramps, you know, like Hastings. Let's put the walking track right across the
Yeah,
the 3 ramps, or we can go on
or
about
not,
Rye
or not shoveling out.
Took the Rook,
Just
or
push the sand closer to the water.
all sorts.
I think Shady Camp up in the Northern Territory just laid a new ramp at Shady Camp.
Yeah, there you go.
It looks
Bet you they
Bet you
got it right the first time
Imagine
too.
imagine if you're a council in the Northern Territory and you got it wrong, you'd be speared, wouldn't you? But anyway, thanks for clearing that up, David. Now I've got plenty of mail to go. I'm going to keep all that for next week or the week after, because we want to talk to Marty.
Yep.
So just quickly, if you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Now, Marty, you've got a competition that Maritime Safety Victoria is going to run from our show tonight. Tell us all about it. I think we've got a slide coming up on the screen very shortly.
Yep, so be one of the first 20 viewers to obviously visit our Boat Safe, Ride Safe Facebook page.
Yep.
And tell us your story and your message, and we'll send you out one of these packs.
So all
of
you got to
trolleys.
do, it says send a private message. All you got to do is go, hi Marty.
Love you,
Or something like
Marty.
that. Love you, Marty.
on Talking
We want a little
Fishing.
bit of effort, a bit like wearing a life
No,
jacket.
let's see how many people we get to say love you, Marty. Right?
right,
Just
yeah.
tell us about Boat Safe, Ride Safe.
Pin up Marty.
And the first 20 people. So you must have a Facebook page called Boat Safe, Ride Safe.
Yeah, we do. Yes,
You should get people to like that page too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We want people to visit.
tick
Oh, you're,
like
not,
or-
you're not getting a prize without a like.
No, you got to like the page.
That's
Let's
right.
make it like the
tell us your
page.
story.
We're making up the rules here.
Well, there's some great
Now, what-
information.
Oh, you still got to
on
comment.
there
And you win one of these packs.
A waterproof-
Do you get a hat like Trelly?
too. Yeah, well,
Is that in the
yeah,
pack?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll come with it.
Look at Charlie. How many
People
of
won't
you-
enter.
Well, Trelly, what's in there? Don't.
Oh, golly, yeah.
No, it's just full of bubble wrap.
Is there
That's a
supposed to be stuff
sample.
Is it?
Nah.
in it? Oh, it is. It's a pair of my old jocks.
No, that's the
it's
old.
filler.
That's just the filler.
No, it's just
so.
filler.
Yeah, there's
Oh, there is other stuff in there.
yeah, there's all bits and pieces. There's bits and pieces
Oh, I
in
thought
there.
there was like $500 worth of gear.
It's a
Or something. An
surprise.
EPIRB and
Surprise.
a life
Surprise.
jacket and all that.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
there you go. First
Surprise,
20
yeah.
people, get on it. Now, Marty,
that up.
VHF radios, tell us there's been some improvements to that network.
Yeah, absolutely, David, and pleased to say that we've got 20 nautical mile coverage in Victoria now on the waters of Victoria, and we're from border to border.
Yep.
20 nautical miles out to sea. We've got coverage with
For the
VHF.
entire coastline.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is fantastic. It's
Yep.
a great safety net, and a VHF radio is the way to go. I mean, 27 meg, I think it's seen its day.
Yep.
And VHF radio, people are listening to it, monitoring channel 16, which so jump on board with a VHF radio.
Does the old 27 meg still get monitored?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The good people at Coast Guard and Coast Radio Melbourne, they monitor 27 meg for sure. So if you've got one, you're going to be heard, but you won't have the coverage like you do with the VHF.
VHF work in Port Phillip Bay in all areas.
Absolutely.
Not like the mobile phones. When you get 3Ks off Chelsea, you haven't got signals. Like you just got no bars on your phone.
And that's a really good segue into don't rely on your mobile phone.
No.
Particularly if you're in the water, even if you do have one of the waterproof pouches. Cold fingers, trying to push the button for help, trying to
read your screen while there's 2 metre waves crashing over your head.
Trying to live.
Exactly. So, a VHF radio, we want people to jump on board.
Do you need any licence to operate VHF?
You do, but jump onto the ACMA. I know I've just abbreviated that, but the acronym, but the ACMA website, and you can sit your licence.
Sit the test online?
Yeah, not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think so, but
but all the info's up there.
All the info's there. So jump on there and get your license, and because it's really good coverage now. So and you talked about people going out to Portland initially, and then out to Lakes Entrance, chasing the broadbill. Why not? People are listening.
People need to be able to communicate.
And more importantly, all the commercial operators will have a VHF. They all monitor.
Well, out there you'd be talking to the oil rigs because they go past them on the way to the sword grounds. So it's a long way out.
They can help you.
There you go. PWC rules. What's happening in that space? Personal watercraft.
Personal watercraft. I mean, we've still got the issues with personal watercraft, and particularly now that we're coming into the warmer months and people are out there in numbers sharing the waterways. But we really want the PWC operators to take ownership of their actions and just get offshore, go and have some fun, because that's what they're designed to do. I mean, they're boring if you go slow. But you've got to.
They're designed for hooning, aren't they?
Well,
they are.
Well, there's laws in place for hooning, and
there's a big push for them by actually Yamaha that they will set up for fishing now.
A great point, Charlie, because and a lot of people are using them for fishing.
Yep.
So you think about if you're out there fishing on your PWC and you have another PWC going flying past you, you wouldn't be very happy. So
no, but they're some great ones now. The market.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't trawl at 135 kilometres an hour. You've got to be safe on them. Running out of time. Coming up next, this week's Hotspots will be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsland's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery's your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
And just before we go to Hotspots, Trelly, you're looking safe again. Some breaking news, boys, that I just need to read out, that it looks like the powers to be that run Devil Bend Reservoir, they are going to make an exemption for the blue-billed duck to enter the kayak area.
Of course they would.
It's coming, that the blue duck bill will be allowed to enter the kayak area of Devil Bend
The blue duck bill.
Reservoir.
The blue-billed duck.
What do I call it?
The blue duck bill.
Is this something
Blue duck bill.
Is this something for down the track that you want me to comment on, or is this something?
We're going to talk about in 2 weeks' time. We're going to pull apart the report. The report that said that blue duck bills, blue-billed ducks,
I've had a glimpse of the report.
Scared of kayaks. No, someone actually did that report.
I've had a glimpse of the report. Are we going to run a 2-hour special? Because the thing's that long on this bloody duck.
Breaking news, they are going to be exempt from entering the...
Those who wrote it better read it, because I'm going to
All right, let's get on with it. Clifton Springs, if you want to head out for a snapper this weekend, this long weekend coming up, Clifton Springs, there's some magnificent snapper, courtesy of the Geelong Trellies Tackle World
Correct. A
Facebook
lot of
page.
reports.
I saw that.
Yep. Heaps of reports coming in down there, so it's...
Clifton Springs is the new Coronella report. It's just going to feature every week.
I know. Carrum, have a look at this. Right out the front. You don't need to go anywhere else. Carrum, right out the front, 17 metres, plenty of artificial reefs out there, and it is the place to go for snapper. Let's go over to Western Port now, and the old Lysarts. Snapper and whiting. It's not just a snapper playground, it is also King George whiting. If you are fishing for snapper in the area, you would be mad not to just put a little whiting bait out of size 6, sorry.
Size 6, big whiting.
Yeah, big whiting. Size
me to
6
your
long
whites,
shank, just with a bit of squid or something like that, and you might just pick yourself up a 43, 44 centimetre whiting. San Remo is the next, and I just heard a little birdie told us, ads, the other day, about some big whiting around the San Remo area.
Just say yes.
All those lucky people that are going camping this weekend, if you're heading up to Eildon, the Delatite Arm, it's the place to go for yellow belly, Charlie.
Correct. From where the Bonnie Arm meets the Delatite Arm.
Yep.
Around that area. Work your trees, but also work, like I probably mentioned, again, is yellow bellies sit above the trees sometimes. A lot of bibless lures. Crank them really slow. Just tick them over.
Yep.
Work well. Excellent.
And lucky last hotspot before we go back to Marty is Lake Tyres, the big dusky flathead.
They're starting.
Are coming out to play.
Yes.
I tell you what, that place is going to fire this
There's too
summer.
much to do, Charlie.
I know.
Where do you go?
Christmas coming up too quick too.
Too much to choose from.
Work.
There you go. All right, Marty. Let's talk nav lights, because it's the time of year where people do get out for all-nighters. Particularly, we've got the Melbourne Cup weekend, so they haven't got work for 4 days. They go, see a bit of good weather, let's go out for an all-nighter. What are the rules around your lights, getting out to your spot, and once you've anchored, what are the rules around lights?
Well, as you said, Carrum's a hot spot, and that's where they're all heading out from. But basically, so when you're underway, you've got to have both your port and starboard on, and your all-round white light on.
Yep.
Underway.
So you've got to have all three when you're underway.
Correct.
I think we've got a photo of a few boats like
there
this.
We go.
So there you go. So they're all legal in that shot?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you've got your port and your starboard and your all-round white light. The all-round white light's got to be clearly visible.
Yep.
Now, so really what you want to do is have two switches. So when you drop your anchor, turn off your port and starboard, have your all-round white light on only when you're at anchor. Yeah.
Now, with your all-round white light, I remember my old Haynes Hunter had it mounted up the back next to the motor. You wouldn't have been able to see that from the front of the boat.
Yeah, so it's got to be clearly visible.
So does that mean that's illegal?
Well, so it's got to be clearly visible, and it has to be at a minimum 1 metre above your port and your starboard.
Is that right?
Correct, yep.
There you
So
go.
it's got to be visible, otherwise...
There's no point.
And I used to look at it and go, there's no point to that light, because if anyone's coming towards me front on, they wouldn't even see me.
And vice versa, if you had that light up front and it wasn't visible from behind, someone's going to run straight into the back of you.
Yeah.
And I guess another good one too, David, is that, and I tell this to people, if you see a red light, stop. If you see a green light, go. Really simple. Keep it simple. So in terms of giveaway rules, just keep it simple. Red means stop, green means go. We know that.
Yeah. There you go. One of the things that is a hazard at this time of year is, we've gone from having quartz halogen spotlights on boats to the remote control spotlights. A lot of guys have got them installed where you can actually move them around. To now, the craze like on the front of your bull bar of your ute, the LED, the bar.
Yeah, that's right.
The bar. Some
Turn
of them
night
are
into day.
They're like a metre wide.
Yeah.
If you've got one of them coming up behind you, you can't see a thing.
No. Yeah, it's not
people
ideal,
have just got to watch those lights, but you're seeing more and more of those big LED bars on the front of boats.
Yeah, you've got a duty of care out there. You absolutely have a duty of care, and if you're blinding someone, there's a chance of a collision. So you've just got to be mindful that your lights, could blind someone else, particularly in a head-on situation. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of other boaters.
Yeah.
And be considerate, because it might be lighting up your boat.
Yeah.
But there's a potential that vessel could plough into you because they
Couple of quick things I wanted to cover. There's a lot more other authorities than Maritime Safety Victoria that can now officially check safety gear on boats, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. So with fisheries officers, so they're authorised to check safety gear, exactly what we do out there.
Yep.
And similarly with Parks Victoria guys, a number of those guys are authorised now to check safety gear.
Yep.
And that just makes sense.
You don't see so many parks guys, but I mean they do have patrol boats.
Sure.
You certainly see them around Patterson River, where that's a bit of their patch that they look after, and so those guys are authorised to go through and check that you've got the right safety gear now.
Yeah, and it makes sense because fisheries guys are pulling vessels over, and if they can do both sets of law, that just makes and it's, otherwise we come up after they've been checked, and then you're hassling people. So
one of the things
great.
I've seen in New South Wales, particularly when I go on holidays to Narooma, is that if you get checked out on the water, they actually give you a sticker and say you've been checked. So over the next 2 to 3 weeks when you're there for your holiday, they'll see that sticker and they won't check you again.
It's like scrutineering.
Is that the sticker that you can just print out yourself and fill it out yourself?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just something. Now I've got to admit, I haven't seen that used in the last few years, but it was certainly something that used to happen every year, that they'd come and check on you. So you guys obviously got no plans for that.
There's certainly no word that I know of, but what we do know that the system we have, we can actually check that someone's been checked previously as well.
Oh, there you go. So
system,
that gets recorded.
Yeah, not always, but most of the time.
Marty, thanks for coming. It's always a pleasure to have you in, and I know we talk about doing it more often. We should do it more often because it's such interesting stuff, and I think a lot of people at home probably got a lot of value out of what you just did. These guys are out there to help you stay safe on the water, so please give them the respect if you do get pulled over. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week will be a pre-recorded show as the live production team take a break for Melbourne Cup Day. It'll be packed with some great footage from the memory bank of Talking Fishing, so when we see you again the following Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.